One thing that's no big secret here in Florida is the massive problems that we're having with the homeowners insurance industry here. And last year in 2022 was an overall pretty devastating year for the insurance business here in Florida, and it's been affecting homeowners like you wouldn't believe. You've seen people lose their policies for no reason, especially even after paying for a couple of decades, and then all of a sudden, wham, insurance policy just drops you like a bad habit. And you've seen other people where they have their homeowners insurance literally double or triple overnight. And on top of that, the amount of companies that's available to choose homeowners insurance from is dwindling by the month. And the latest one to actually be on the chopping block for this is United Property and Casualty Insurance Company. These guys have now been declared insolvent, and an insurance company from Tampa called Slide has picked up 72,000 of their policies that they can no longer service. On February 10th of this year, the Casualty Insurance Corporation was sent into the receivership because of their insolvency. And basically this happens when an insurance company has more liabilities than they do assets. So it's basically a bankruptcy. It's just another way of saying we're totally broke and we can't pay claims anymore. So thanks guys for sending us all the money all these years, and better luck next time. Last year in 2022, we had 6 companies go through this, and now this is the latest one. So you're talking basically 7 companies that have gone insolvent here in Florida just in the past 14 months or so. Here's the thing about United. They had about 135,000 homeowners insurance policies here in Florida, and Slide, the other insurance company that took over 72,000 of them, well, that's only about half. So what happened to the other half of the people that were insured with them? As of right now, there's no plan to help these people. That's the latest update, guys. So if you're in the boat of the other half of the customers that were insured with United Casualty, right now it's just unknown on what's going to happen to your insurance policy, if anyone is going to take it over. Nobody knows. So imagine the situation that puts you in as a homeowner here, and the vulnerability and liability that this could potentially open you up to. And to top that off, even though Slide Insurance Company took over 72,000 policies, they're not liable for any claims that were made prior to February 1st of 2023. So if you made a claim before that date and you're with this company, you still have to deal with United. And so they're saying this is the most likely scenario that's going to happen. Florida Insurance Guarantee Association is probably going to have to step in and take over the remaining policies from United. And how this works is the agency takes over claims of insolvent companies, and they collect assessments on policyholders throughout the state to cover the costs. And for anybody who remembers the last time that we talked about this insurance debacle, is that means that they basically raise premiums on everyone across the entire state of Florida. Doesn't matter if you've ever had a claim, doesn't matter about how much you've paid your bills on time, and also it doesn't just affect homeowners insurance. When they do these assessments, they can raise your insurance rates on any type of insurance. We're talking car insurance, we're talking homeowners insurance, we're talking flood insurance, like any type of insurance that you have in the state of Florida, they can raise the fees on to make up for these shortfalls. And apparently this problem with United has been a long time coming, because since 2017 they've been averaging about $35 million a year in losses. So for the last 4.5 years these guys have been going broke. And the killing blow for them was last year when we had Hurricane Ian hit. They were anticipating to lose about $660 million from this, when in fact they lost $864 million. So the losses were far greater than they anticipated, and this was just the final nail in the coffin for United. So the biggest problem with this, being a Florida resident and buying real estate here, is that the insurance problems are basically far from over, guys. When you're still seeing companies that are failing and insurance premiums are more expensive than they've ever been, the chances of this being over anytime soon are slim to none. And you can pretty much guarantee that at least throughout the next couple of years, insurance premiums here are likely to keep rising. And today, honestly, I just have a ton of stories about insurance and the whole situation down here. So shifting gears away from United and their situation, how about this? Hurricane deductibles are not actually just for hurricanes. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Last year, when Tropical Storm Nicole passed through Maitland, Florida, there was a homeowner there that said, oh, everything was over and the tropical storm passed. And then a few hours later, after the storm finished, a huge branch from an oak tree just crashed through the roof of this person's house. And then here's the kicker. When this person went to go make a claim for the insurance, she had USAA for her homeowner's insurance, and they sent her a check for the repairs for this minus $12,440. And the company was charging her a hurricane deductible, with her policy meant a 2% of her home value. So that's her hurricane deductible. And right away you might think, oh, the insurance company is ripping these people off and they didn't deserve that. Well, here's the situation. All homeowners insurance policies here have a hurricane deductible. And if the storm was ever declared a hurricane by the National Weather Service, all of the destruction it causes from there is deemed a hurricane damage. Even up to 72 hours after the hurricane has totally disappeared, it will still fall under this hurricane deductible. Check this out, guys. This tree pretty much destroyed this fence right here. Just goes to show you the power of Mother Nature. But of course, insurance companies always have a way to scam people, and even though this practice is perfectly legal, the reason why it's a scam is because, let's say the hurricane hits down in the Florida Keys and you get some kind of damage from some other type of thunderstorm or whatever up in the Panhandle, doesn't matter. Hurricane deductible, guys. So this is their way of skirting out of paying claims when there's a major storm. And basically they're saying that this is built into the legal system here in Florida to keep premiums down. Because if they didn't have this practice in place, then homeowners insurance premiums would be even higher than they already are, which is kind of baffling and hard to imagine, really, when you look at where the premiums are right now and how far that they've gone up just over the past couple of years. And to imagine that they could be even higher if they didn't have this hurricane deductible law in place is just unbelievable. And one of the reasons I want to bring this up here on the channel is because I know a lot of people that watch, especially that they enjoy these walks. I'm going through all these beautiful Florida neighborhoods. Yeah, it's beautiful, guys, but it costs more than ever. Obviously, you guys have seen the home prices here are absurd. And then when you factor in the cost to insure the place and the risk of loss and just how crowded it's getting down here and everything like that, you have to really ask yourself if it's worth it and if it's what you really want, because Florida is not the cheap and affordable sleepy retirement state that it was for many decades. That's definitely not the case anymore. But wait, there's more. For only $3.99 a year, you can have yourself, I'm just kidding. But there is more. If you think that's bad, it just gets worse from here. And today is just basically all the bad news about homeowners insurance that we can pretty much muster up into one video. And the other thing is canceled homeowners insurance policies, okay? And to me, that's one of the worst things that can happen. At least, if you have a storm, whatever, and you got to pay the hurricane deductible, at least you got something, right? At least you got cut a check. But I would say it's arguably the worst case scenario when you just get flat out dropped, okay? I just realized this house is for sale. Comes with the cat in the front yard. Let's take a look. Now, I don't know if you can really count this place as a flip because the current owner bought this place in 2019 for $930,000 and now they have it listed for sale for $1,850,000. So it's almost 4 years later after they bought it. So it's probably a situation where it's like, hey, we bought this house, now it's worth a lot more. Let's try to cash out while we can. And it seems expensive, but I was looking at the neighborhood and there's a couple of comps nearby that sold for the $1.8 to $2 million range. So who knows, maybe they'll actually get it. This might be one to follow up on. Now here's a couple ways that your homeowner's insurance can get canceled. And one of the ways that they just kind of start mitigating their losses is they can just flat out stop writing policies in areas that they deem are, too dangerous or too risky from now on. And that's what they do here in Miami-Dade especially. There's a lot of companies that won't even cover or won't even write a new insurance policy here in Miami-Dade. But did you know that your homeowner's insurance can cancel you for not complying with the carrier's recommendation for doing something to protect your home? Like where a tree is positioned in the front of the yard, overhanging the roof, whipping the tiles, breaking the tiles, and leading to water intrusion. Carriers are being more proactive and recommending things to minimize losses. So what they're trying to do is basically just drop people because you're not doing what they're asking you to do. And it turns out that water loss and water damage is the #1 problem that insurance companies have to face and ultimately pay out on. So they're trying to get people to do anything possible to prevent water damage. And one of the latest things that they're telling people to do is to reduce water damage and potential leaks that you're not expecting is to install an automatic shutoff system in your house. This is something that's installed by a plumber, and the main water supply line is linked to an app on your phone, and it can tell you if the water's running in unusual patterns or something strange is going on. And if it detects unusual behavior, you get an alert on your phone and say, especially this is important if you're not home, for example, then you can just, turn it off straight from your phone, and it will shut off the main water supply for your home until you can figure out what's going on. Now, I don't know, this is just a guess, this is just speculation on my end, but I'm almost willing to bet that as these insurance companies start getting tighter and tighter with their requirements, they might start requiring you to do this, guys. And I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that, yeah, if you want to get coverage from us, you need to have, this automatic water shutoff installed. You need to remove that tree from your front yard. So, having this forest right here, can't have it. It's all got to be bare bones. You know what I mean? And it gets even worse from there, because if you think that's bad, that they can control your insurance coverage based on those things, well, there's more to it. They can actually cancel your insurance policy because of the type of dog you have. And I am not making this up, guys. Stories below. So if you have a pit bull, or you have a Doberman, or you have a Rottweiler, these are under a certain category of dogs that the insurance company deems to be dangerous. And say you have one of these dogs and they bite one of the neighbor's kids or anything like that, they might not pay out the claim for this. And check this out, they actually have a list here of other dog breeds that might actually cause your homeownership rate to go up, or a flat out cancellation. So if you have an Akita, an American Pit Bull, a Pit Bull Terrier, a Chow Chow, a German Shepherd, Great Dane, Rottweiler, Siberian Husky, or a Wolf Hybrid, those are all grounds for either canceling your homeowner's insurance policy flat out or significantly increasing your premium, because now you're looked at as a higher risk. And they can even dig into the nitty-gritty of this. If you want to fight against this, you have to get a DNA test done on your dog, and they can even go by percentages. If your dog is too much of a percentage of a certain breed, they can still classify it like that. Also, if you have any other kind of unconventional pets like a snake, a boa constrictor, venomous snake, ferret, anything like that, any kind of unusual pet, that's also grounds for cancellation or rate increases. And here's the thing, guys, a lot of people say, well, I just won't tell the insurance company that I have this dog or this snake or whatever. And by doing that, you're opening yourself up to them not paying the claim when you actually go to need to make one. So that's the real problem here. If you hide something like this and you do have a problem later on, the snake bit somebody or the dog bit somebody, whatever, they'll deny your claim 100%. And here's a shocking one. Homeowners insurance companies are now dropping people that decide to put solar panels on their house. How about that one? This whole green movement of, let's electrify everything through the sun. Insurance companies are not having it. And the reason for this is because the way that the solar panels are installed it's hooked up to the electrical grid. And say there's some kind of short or a surge, some kind of power surge or some kind of malfunction with this thing, and it blows out, the power in nearby homes or things like that, the homeowner can be liable for this. And if you decide to sell the power that your solar panels are producing in excess back to the power company, they can also cancel your insurance policy for that as well. And this one's for all you Tesla owners and all you fans of that having the electric cars. Guess what? They can also cancel your homeowner's insurance policy for installing the charging station in your house. How about that one? There are some states that have laws where in order to get liability coverage for the charging equipment, some underwriters might want to see photos for the documents that show the unit was installed correctly, and they strongly are urging you that if you're planning on getting one of these charging stations installed into your home, you should check with your insurance carrier first to see how this is going to affect your premium and if they're even going to continue to cover you. And you might need to even increase how much of the comprehensive auto insurance you carry because of this. And those are just the things that were mentioned here that can affect your insurance policy getting canceled or your rates going up, things like that. And I am sure there's a laundry list of other things as well, but these are all surprising things, guys, like not the things you would expect when it comes to how much your premiums can go up. So you got to watch out for this. Now here's the next thing, guys, kind of departing away from the homeowners insurance situation. There was an article today from the Florida Realtors, very similar to the one we talked about last week from the National Association of Realtors. And I just have to call out the BS every time I hear about it. And here's what it says. The headline of this: January housing, median prices and inventory is up. Okay? So right away, the headline is trying to make it look like everything is fantastic with the Florida housing market, okay? The Florida Realtors is just as guilty as the National Association of Realtors. They keep hanging on this year-over-year number, guys. Listen, this is what they're saying. Check this out. Closed sales of single-family homes statewide last month totaled almost 15,000, which is down 32.5% from last year, and existing condo sales were just a tad over 6,000, which is down 40.7% from January of 2022. And this is where the year-over-year numbers come in. They say that existing single-family home prices are up 389,000, up 4% from the previous year, and condo and townhouse prices are up 8.8% year over year at 310,000. They're also talking about how inventory actually went up 134%. So it's not like they're spewing lies here. They're not giving any false information, but they're not telling you the whole picture and giving you all of the information. Because check this out. Here is a graph from the SunStats, which is real estate data that all of us have access to as Florida Realtors in the entire state. And using their own data, where they're pulling these numbers from, you can see right here that since June of 2022, the home prices back then were $388,990. And since then, in January, they're down to $360,000. So the part of the story that they're not telling you is that home prices in Florida, the median price, have actually declined 7.4% since June of last year. So they're not talking about that. I get accused of crap like this all the time in my videos, but the reality is, guys, I'm giving people the real figures here and the real numbers and telling the other side of the story that the realtor associations are just flat out not talking about. And this is a big one. The fact that they're not telling people that home prices have actually been going down for 8 straight months in a row, they're just pointing to the fact that it's up year over year. I can guarantee you that by the time June or July rolls around this year, they're not going to be able to say that anymore, okay? Because that was the peak of the market, and home prices are going to continue to decline throughout the year, and what are they going to say then? You know what I mean? So it's not like these realtor associations are lying. They're just not giving you the full idea and the full picture of what's truly happening. And the reason why everybody says this is different this time, the number one argument everybody uses is inventory. Well, inventory is still pretty low in Florida compared to what it used to be pre-pandemic, but it is going up fast because check out this chart here. You can see in the past, pre-pandemic, inventory was always hovering between 150 to 160,000 homes for sale at any given month, okay? roughly in that neighborhood. And for a long time, our numbers here were plummeting in terms of what was for sale, which highly increases the prices here, right? But if you look at what's going on right now, the inventory has been spiking, and as of January 2023, the number's hovering around 100,000 homes for sale. And that's going to continue to go up, guys, especially with these high mortgage rates. People cannot afford to buy at these prices almost anywhere, and you're going to see that everything is going to catch back up to where it was pre-pandemic and probably exceed that. That's my guess. That's where things are looking to be headed when you just look at these charts. And of course, I have to bring this up because there's so many people saying Florida's not going to crash, everything's still selling fast where I live and all this and that. Yeah, I've heard that a million times, guys. I live in Miami. Things are still pretty hot here too, but it is changing. It's cooling down, and it will affect all of us eventually. It's just a matter of who's going to get it first. Just like with the nationwide home prices coming down, the West Coast is getting hammered right now, but it's going to slowly migrate over to the East Coast, and we're all going to feel the effects of this on some level. Choose to look at it, choose to ignore it, but not even Florida is immune from this downturn, guys, because I am using the data from the Realtor Association here in Florida, and you can clearly see that median home prices have been actively coming down month after month after month since June of 2022. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you click the bell notification down below. YouTube will alert you every time I post a new video, and if you don't want to wait, check out my next one on the screen right over here, and I'll see you in the next one.